Hello, everybody. It's Claudia. My friend Tamara from Tamara's Timeless Beauty and I have become friends over the last year, and we talk quite a bit via FaceTime. And we have the what we think are most fascinating conversations about aging and aging gratefully. And we thought we would love to have all of you be part of it. So in this video, Tamara and I are just going to chat about aging gratefully. What else are we going to talk about, Tamara? Treatments,
All
BOTOX,
kinds of
all other
stuff.
things. And we just wanted you to be part of it. And hopefully you can all be part of the conversations. Meet us down in the comments. We love chatting with you. So without further ado, Tamara, let's talk.
Okay, how fun. I am so excited to be sitting down on Skype with you and doing this.
Me too. So Tamara, talking about age and numbers, what was your hardest birthday so far?
You know, birthdays to me have always been a celebration. I've always loved my birthdays. I never had a 30 was fine, 40 was great. As I approached age 50, I started to get sort of panicky, almost scared. And 50 was a very, very hard birthday for me. Now, having said that, my family did have a huge party for me. It was super fun and I got past it, but I really did. I dreaded the birthday itself. I dreaded the number. And I think part of the reason is I had, ended a relationship not too long before that. I had an empty nest syndrome. My daughter had just, sort of gone off into the world. And I was really, I was just not in a really great place in my life. But I really did dread that birthday. And I did get into a little bit of a panic of, urgently seeking everything that I could to, anti-age myself. But having gotten past that birthday, I was really afraid, okay, what's 60 going to be like? 60 was a breeze. I actually looked forward to turning 60. I celebrated 60. And for me, 60 is when I started my YouTube channel. So 60 is, to me, is representing sort of a new, exciting chapter. At least that's how I'm trying to keep my focus. So those are my birthdays. How about you? What was your hardest birthday?
Birthdays to me have always been something I have really looked forward to and really enjoy celebrating. So 30 for me was a blast, even though my friends threw me an over the hill party, which I thought was hilarious. 40 for me was really hard. But I think like you, it was because I was in a bad place. I was in a bad relationship at the time. I had just broken my neck. So physically, I felt very fragile and very just old physically. So 40 was hard for me. It was not a birthday I like to look back on. I also, unlike you, I didn't really celebrate it. Every birthday after that was really fun. And 50 actually, the 50 was a bit of a surprise. It was that thought of how can that be? How can I be a half a century old? Because at 50, I started feeling younger than I did back then at 40 at my bad birthday. And at 50, I was in a happy relationship. I was so much more comfortable with myself. 50 was easy, but 40 was definitely the hard one. And my 50th, I celebrated by, I told you this, by running the stadium stairs in the first Olympic stadium in Greece. My husband and I ran them up 50 times. So being able to do that on my 50th birthday also made me happy, of course. So 50 was easy, 40 was difficult. And who knows what's going to happen with 60, but you inspire me, and hopefully 60 will be a breeze as well.
And here's the thing. It's just a number. And that's one of the things I try to remember is I am not a number.
Yeah.
I am a person. I am having experiences, and my number does not define my health or my appearance or my energy. Granted, as we go through different stages of life, age can be a factor, but I'm really trying not to let a number, direct my life or define me. And every once in a while, I'll actually forget how old I am. And I love that.
I do too.
Like, how old am I? Oh, you know what? I don't even want to know because, really it doesn't matter. And I'm always sort of interested when people are not truthful about their age. I think that's a really interesting, to me, sort of a strange concept, because of course, if someone is going to not be truthful about their age, they're going to err on the younger side, right? And to me, I would rather have somebody, know I'm 61 and think I look good for 61 than think I'm, 50 and think, oh, well, what's wrong with her? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And, to me now, I think why 40 was so difficult is because I felt physically so fragile.
Yeah.
Breaking your neck is a big deal. So that really made me just, it was two part. One part, I was very grateful to be alive and to not be in a wheelchair. But on the other hand, I also felt so fragile, and I thought I could have almost died. And at that point, I wasn't in a good place in my life. And I think that's why I felt so old. But then looking back at my 50th birthday, what I was able to physically do, especially where I was at 40, that number just didn't matter at all anymore. It was just like, wow, I'm so appreciative and I'm proud that I can do this at 50. And like you, I would rather admit my age. I'm 52 now. I would rather admit my age because I feel that I can be proud of having overcome everything I've overcome and being here and having learned what I've learned. And it's not something to be ashamed of. It's a number, and it's what we're doing with it is what matters.
Yeah. My dad turned 80, I think last summer or the summer before. He loves to tell people he's 80 because he is so vibrant. He golfs, he walks. I mean, he's such a handsome man, and he just loves. If he probably would love to just wear a sweatshirt that said "I'm 80" because because he's proud of where he's at in his life, and he feels really good. Now, as after I got through the 50th birthday, I really took more charge of my health. In my 50s is when I started doing green smoothies, and when I started really doing yoga, consistent yoga. And I really, I felt that sense of urgency, but I also felt that sense of taking control and really taking the best care of myself that I could be. And as I did each of those steps, I started to feel really energized and really excited. And, so again, it's not the number, it's to me where you're at, how you're feeling, how you're taking care of yourself. And I'm looking forward now. I'm not afraid of 70 or 80. Of course, I want to be healthy. And so we all fear, that's the part of getting older that can be a little bit scary, as we don't know. But, younger people can have health issues too. And you can still be happy and in a good place, even with health issues. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's the one part that scares me a little bit about getting older is being sick. But then I was so unhealthy my whole life. And really in my mid 40s is when I started getting healthy. And so I am enjoying this now. Like you said, at 50, you started taking better care of yourself. That is what I'm enjoying now, really being grateful for my body, being nurturing it and feeding it the right foods and appreciating everything it can be and can do. And hopefully I can still do that at 70 and 80 and 90 and 100, who knows? But yeah, that's the one thing that scares me a little bit about getting older, definitely is disease. But hopefully, if we take good care of ourselves, now, of course, something can always happen. But hopefully, by taking good care of ourselves, we can work towards preventing some of that.
And just being the best we can be, no matter what our circumstances. We've talked a little bit about age and numbers, but, we are part of the YouTube Mature Beauty community. So what is beauty? Is beauty, and how does age relate to beauty? Is beauty synonymous with youth? I don't know. What are your thoughts? What is beauty and what is beautiful to you?
That's a good question. And I think as you were asking the question, I thought about another reason why my 40th birthday was so difficult for me. And having been anorexic for 2 decades, I became anorexic when I was 17. I was anorexic till almost 40 years old. And then I turned 40. And I felt like, well, that's it. I missed that part of being young and beautiful and celebrating my beauty and my youth. And I think that was also why it was so difficult. I just felt like I never even had that part. And I had to really come to grips with that beauty isn't youth. I hadn't missed the boat. That beauty is really something that is inside of us. And that's when I started doing a lot of self-growth and a lot of soul searching, and really started learning to love and accept myself, not for what I saw in the mirror, but that it made seeing what I saw in the mirror a lot easier, because I never appreciated it before. Being anorexic, you don't like what you see in the mirror. So, but I have heard a lot of women say in their middle ages that they feel invisible, and it's something that makes me very sad to hear. I can understand it because I was there in my 40s, but doing all that soul searching and all that self-growth has made me realize that beauty isn't just this. It's so much more than that. Yeah, it's nice to have beautiful skin and beautiful hair and all of that, but none of that matters if you don't feel it inside. Mm-hmm. And so to me, the most beautiful person is not somebody that has perfect skin or the perfect outfit or whatever it is, but who has a light that shines through, who has a smile and carries themselves and is secure in themselves. That to me is beauty. It has nothing to do with age or, again, the perfect skin, the perfect makeup, or any of that. What about you?
Absolutely. First of all, beauty is, we talk a lot about the inner beauty, but the peace and the joy and the confidence and the contentment. And when we all know that person that when we walk into a room, maybe it doesn't, isn't the most stunning person in the room, but when they talk and engage and how they hold themselves, people are just drawn to that person. And yet there could be a drop dead gorgeous woman on the other side of the room that just you can't approach. So to me, beauty is much more than the outside appearance. And as far as age and beauty, the other day I was on Facebook, and I was on Penn Smith's Facebook page, and a young gal, 26 years old, posted a photo. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. It made me so sad. I wanted to cry.
Oh my gosh, this beautiful girl. Mm-hmm. And she was asking for help because she felt like her face was sagging and she didn't like anything and she couldn't afford injections. I'm like, and I think you and I both responded to her. I said, thank goodness you can't afford injections because you are absolutely beautiful. And so part of, youth, unfortunately, yes, there's beauty in youth, there's beauty in age, but hopefully part of the benefit of growing older is being more comfortable in our own skin. Mm-hmm. If she had self-confidence, she would have been she was gorgeous anyway, but you could tell just by looking at her face that she had some pain and that she didn't feel good about herself. So, beauty starts on the inside, and it's an inside job, right? Not only taking care of our health, but our mind and our, I don't want to say attitude, but our sense of peace with wherever we're at in our life, I think is really important. And it is communicated to other people through a photograph.
And it reminds me of the saying, youth is wasted on the youth. Or
yes.
What is that saying? Because I don't think any of us, it didn't matter how drop dead gorgeous we were. I don't think any of us knew it when we were younger. And now we're older and we're sort of mourning this having been younger, when back then we didn't see it. So when are we ever appreciating who we are? It's kind of sad because we just constantly live in this unhappiness and in this state of
dissatisfaction.
Exactly. Because even if we have it, like this woman, like you said, I thought the same thing. It made me want to cry. We don't know it. So, but that's just it. Beauty is not just what we see in a photograph or in the mirror. It's if you don't have that inner peace, you're never going to feel it. You're never going to feel beautiful. So I think we have to change that perception of what beauty is, the perfect, now everybody wants glass skin or whatever it is.
Right, right.
I remember when I was a little girl, I was maybe 15, growing up in Germany, I was blonde and blue-eyed like everybody else. And I had a friend I was also very tall, I'm 5'8", and I had a friend, she was about 5'3", and she had black curly hair and brown eyes. And she wasn't beautiful by any, standards, but she had that certain something. And when she walked in a room, just like you said, everybody wanted to spend time with her. And I remember, to me back then, that was beautiful. I wanted to be 5'3", black curly hair. I wanted to be just like her. But now I know it wasn't about the outside appearance. It was about what she brought when she came into a room. And that is what is beautiful, is somebody being able to light up the room with their personality and their smile and their confidence.
Absolutely. And, I try to remember, this is, okay, if we're talking exterior looks, I'm never going to look better. It's not going to get better. So appreciate, like we look back on older photographs perhaps and think, well, I looked really good. What was I, worried about? I didn't appreciate my appearance at age 30 or 35 or 40. Well, we're going to feel the same way in 10 or 20 years. We're going to look back to now and think, you know what? You had it going on. So, I really just try to appreciate where I'm at right now and take the best care that I can and be at peace with. Now, having said that, let's talk about social media for a minute, because this gal that we just talked about, a lot of her sense of dissatisfaction was coming from comparing herself to unrealistic social media. And I can't imagine being a young woman now, how much more difficult social media can make it. It's hard enough when you're older, but when you are already, struggling with self-confidence, to be looking at all these, I don't know, airbrushed, photoshopped, injected. Now, we're going to talk about that. Nothing wrong with injections, but it's got to be really hard.
I just said to my husband the other day, I am glad when I was younger, Instagram and all that didn't exist, because I would be dead by now. I mean, I would have taken my anorexia to the next level. So thank God social media didn't exist back then. And I am also glad that I'm not young now with all that pressure of social media and all of that. But you and I have that pressure too. So even at any age, we have that social pressure. But I think that because we're more secure in ourselves, we can handle it a little bit better. But yeah, young girls nowadays, I do not envy them. That's got to be really difficult. Definitely.
I think no matter what our age, to mindfully choose what we are going to expose ourselves to. And this was one of my lessons in my 50s, because I was looking for inspiration. And, one in my early 50s, when I was really, focusing on my health and yoga and my diet, not that I've always been pretty healthy, but I think I really recommitted to it in my early 50s. And early on, I found, and of course, we didn't have any, maybe there was Pinterest, but basically it was magazines and articles. But anyway, Cindy Joseph, and she was a model in her 50s. She had long silver hair, and she started a small, simple cosmetic line for older women called Boom. I'm sure many people have heard of it. And I just loved her. I just thought she was so inspirational to be creating a product for older women and to be presenting herself, lines, wrinkles, long gray hair. It really made me, so I really think it helps what you surround yourself in terms of social media,
Definitely.
And I want to be somebody, with my YouTube channel, and I know you feel the same way, I want to be somebody who is approachable and encouraging and not setting unrealistic expectations we're journeying together with the YouTube community, with you, with my YouTube friends, and with some of my viewers too. I mean, the engagement, and we're all struggling with the same things. So it's a really great community to support each other.
It is. Yeah, it definitely is. And I've definitely gotten a lot of that, especially in this last year with COVID and everything, being stuck at home.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what I would have done without that community. It's such an amazing community of women supporting each other and understanding each other. There is the occasional one who is not supportive, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But for the most part, I think we women, we can be so empowering with each other, and we can help us get over all of that struggle that we all go through. We all feel like we're not enough, and we're not young enough and pretty enough, and we all have that, no matter what age, no matter what we look like. So it is an incredible community to just feel that we are all connected, and we can help each other with that and talk about those things and help each other out.
I mean, I enjoy YouTubers of all ages. I watch some younger gals that I absolutely love. I watch other topics other than beauty and anti-aging, which we'll talk about. Organization, decorating, cooking, health, gardening. I am excited that there are more and more older women becoming YouTubers, becoming YouTube creators, because I think that the more exposure, society has to older women who are vibrant, healthy, creative, beautiful, the more society's definition of beauty equals youth, I hope that is shifting. I mean, there are some women in their 70s and their 80s who have YouTube channels that I adore and that who inspire me every single time I watch them. So I'm happy to be part of that. And I hope that we see more mature beauty creators joining YouTube as well.
I hope so too. Well, since we're talking about that, what made you start your channel, Tamara?
First of all, I discovered YouTube 5 years ago, and Angie Hot and Flashy was my gateway to, as many of us were. And again, I was in my early to mid 50s and exploring and trying to, find ways that I could look and feel my best. I fell in love with so many creators. I was so inspired. For a while, I thought, at least 2 or 3 years, I thought, well, that would be really fun to do. But, I do have a full-time job, and I still have a full-time job. I'm not a techie. And, but here's the thing. So in my late 50s, at about age 58, I think, is when I decided, okay, I'm done dyeing my hair. That's a whole nother topic. I have a video on that, a couple videos on that. But I was tired of dyeing my hair. And I decided to grow my gray hair out, and I did it painful inch by inch. And again, that was a real issue with self-image, and gray hair equals old, and it was a journey, and that's a whole nother topic. But when I cut the last of my gray off in December of 2019, and I had just turned 60, I thought, you know what? I've been thinking about a YouTube channel for a couple of years. I'm just going to do it. And I literally uploaded my first video on my phone. I uploaded it on my phone. I had no idea what I was doing. I still have so much to learn, believe me. But I think actually cutting the dye off really motivated me to, I don't know, I just wanted to share my experience. And I'm so glad I did. I have just... You and I found each other early on, right away after.
We did, yeah.
And you've been a huge blessing to me. I love you.
Likewise. I love you too. Likewise. Likewise.
And what made you start your channel?
I think several things. My husband and I moved to Italy, and the language obviously was a barrier. I speak German and English, a tiny bit of Italian, but not enough to actually work here. So though I was blessed that I could just do whatever I wanted to do all day long, it became very sort of empty. And I really missed I'm a personal trainer and I'm a yoga teacher, and I missed connecting with people and making a tiny bit of difference in people's life, helping them with their health, helping them with their, whatever it is they want to work on, their peace of mind. And also, I think having struggled so much with my own self-acceptance and my own self-love for so long, I felt that hopefully I could make a tiny bit of a difference. And I remember when I started my channel, I thought if I have 50 subscribers, I'll be happy. Sounded like a lot. And I told my husband, if I make a difference in one person's life, then it's going to be worth it. And that's why I started. I just felt I wanted to be of service somehow. I didn't just want to, sit around and watch television. That's not what I do. So I felt like I wanted to be of service. I wanted to make a little bit of a difference in the world. So thank you so much for joining us so far. This is the end of part 1. To see part 2, go to Tamara's channel, and we'll meet you over there.